Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Kidney Talkies. My name is Deepti Behil. I am a fellow kidney warrior, and today we have a special guest, Tamara Miller-Villanueva, with us. Hi Tamara.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on our platform and share your interesting journey while dealing with kidney disease with our audience. So let's get started. Could you please tell a little bit about who Tamra is? What does she do?
Thanks for having me. I am Tamara Miller-Villanueva. I am a mechanical engineer, and now I'm an AI strategist. I have been an engineer for the past 20 plus years. I'm originally from Louisiana. I live here in Texas. I have two daughters, and now I am just a AI person who is trying to put engineering, AI, and my health all together.
Oh wow, that's so interesting because I'm meeting a fellow engineer and a patient. My
Yes.
patient, it's so interesting.
Yes.
So, could you please tell a little bit about your kidney journey and how it began?
Um, sure. My kidney journey probably began when I was pregnant with my second daughter. I was 22 years of age at that time, and I know I'm dating myself. But after when I was pregnant, I got really sick, and they just charged it up or counted it up to the pregnancy. No real background. They didn't dig further into it. At that time, one of my kidneys had stopped working. So after that, I went home. Excuse me. I went on and I moved to Houston. I started working at a company and I was there. And one night I just wasn't feeling well. And then one of my coworkers talked me into going to stopping at the ER. So that night I went and come to find out I had swollen hands, swollen face, but wasn't feeling bad besides that. Went to the ER and they kept me the whole weekend. They also confirmed that I had CKD. I probably was in stage 2 to 3 at that time, but that was 21 years ago. So I was spilling so much protein, they said that I would be on the machine in 3 months. I would be on the dialysis machine in 3 months. I was devastated at that point. I went home, trying to figure out what were some other options because I had two small daughters. And then I couldn't imagine them growing up without me or me being tied to a machine during that time. I did years of research, years of trying to find remedies, anything that could help me stay healthy as long as I could. There at that time there were no the only thing they said about the diagnosis was this is the diagnosis, this is where you are, and then 3 months from now you'll be on the kidney machine. There is no cure, there isn't anything. So when I went to look at the internet and try to find more info, there was nothing. It was very hard to find anything. So quite a few years passed on. When the pandemic hit, I caught COVID. So in 2020, I lost more kidney function, but they could not describe or explain why. And from 2020 on, things began to get a little rough. So in 24, I became very ill here at my house alone, and my some friends of mine called the ER. I'm sorry, called the ambulance, got me to the ER, and then I woke up with a port in my chest. I was on dialysis, hemodialysis for 3 to 4 months. And then I switched to peritoneal because I did it at home and I was still working at it. I was still a traveling engineer. And 2 to 3 months after that process started, my sister started to get tested and she turned out to be a perfect match. So on September 16th of 2025, we did the transplant and she and here I am. So after the transplant, life has been very different but good.
Oh wow, congratulations for your transplant and thanks for sharing your entire journey. It's very overwhelming as well as it gives hopes to too many people who have been recently diagnosed with the kidney disease.
Absolutely.
And my next question is that in your path to transplant and the evaluation process, could you please tell a little bit about the transplant evaluation process? Which hospital did you finally got the transplant? And what were some of the biggest challenges you had faced
On the journey or during the transplant phase?
during both the phases?
I'm here in Houston, Texas, where we have one of the biggest medical centers. My particular healthcare system I was using is Methodist Hospital. I had gotten on the transplant list back in 2020, 21, somewhere around there because I qualified. My kidney function was low enough. However, I still was very active. I've always been a gym person. I've always eaten right. I did everything I can do to stay on the side of healthy. So when we began to do the testing, when my sister called one day and was saying she was coming to Houston for testing, and I was like, wait a minute, how did it get to this point? So what happens is when you get on the list, they also give you a link for you to have or try to see if you can find somebody to be a donor because that speeds up that process. So my sister and my mom had the link, and I didn't even know that she had applied. A little bit of backstory. About 2 years before that, I had another cousin that applied, and he was also a match for me. But there was something that was going on, I think maybe with blood pressure issues or something that had never materialized. So when my sister began her testing, she had to do testing in her home state of Tennessee. Once she passed those tests, those the results were sent here to Houston, and then they asked her to come here for follow-up testing. So when she came for the follow-up testing here, that's when they confirmed that we were a perfect match, and then all she had to do was pick a date for the surgery. I think it was two things that were very hard for me. I wanted to have a donor outside of my family because anybody who knows me know I don't want my situation to infringe on anybody else. So if something happens to somebody, then that would really bother me. It would have been better for me if it was a stranger. That was the first thing I struggled with. Secondly, I was always so active and used to working. I was a traveling engineer. I would go locally, domestically, sometimes internationally. So to be stuck at home or strapped to the dialysis machine, which they do say it, and which is true, it is, you can take it with you. But to travel, it was just too much for me. Like mentally, it really, really weighed on me. So that was a really, really big challenge.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Anything else you would like to add for our listeners?
If, well, I'll say this, since the transplant, I still stick to the diet that I had before the transplant because for me the goal is to make the kidney last outlast me if that's a thing, right? So I want it to outlast me. I want it to be because I've read stories about people having to get it again or maybe rejection. And some of those things are not the patient's fault. But for me, I'm just doing everything I can do to do that. If anybody is diagnosed with kidney disease, whether it's second stage, third stage, whatever it may be, I do want people to know that it is not a final diagnosis. It's not the end of the world. Again, I was told I would be on the machine in 3 months. I didn't get there till 21 years later. That was with a lot of discipline. That was really understanding my labs, knowing what the doctor was saying, kind of staying or being an advocate for yourself because nobody else knows how it feels to be in those shoes. So you have to stay on top of your labs. You have to really enforce your kidney diet. There are a number of things that you can do to really help this process. And sometimes I've even ran into people or I've had other stories where they've been able to better the situation. The kidney function has gotten better by doing those things as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Could you tell a little bit about your diet? Because you're mentioning that you have been managing your diet to stay off the
Mhm.
dialysis for almost 21 years, which is incredible. I
Yeah.
really would like to know that because even I had a transplant 18 months back in 2025.
Mhm.
So I also struggle with this question. This is also my problem. How do I
Okay.
make these kidneys last forever?
Yeah, the diet. Uh, let's start with this. My diagnosis was an autoimmune disease called membranous glomerulonephritis. So the glomeruli in my kidneys did not or do not break down protein very well. So prior to transplant, I ate very little protein. Let me say very little animal protein. But that was staying hydrated. I learned to juice, not fully, but I would juice probably 50% of the way. I would I would half the juice with water. I ate a lot of fresh veggies, fruit. I changed everything. When I first changed my diet, I dropped 20 pounds instantly, which helped the function prolong because my body was carrying less weight. Then I had to learn how to relieve stress. So then I started yoga, things of that nature, yoga, tai chi, and just kind of learning to decompress. That also helped. But diet is one thing that was hard, but I had such a motivation with my kids to do it, right? They were still playing soccer, they were doing all this stuff in Texas. We were traveling every weekend. So it was just a different motivation for me.
Uh, so can you elaborate what are the good, some of the good vegetables and some good sources of protein to help in managing the kidney disease?
If I am totally honest, veggies, spinach, kale, a lot of any kind of leafy green vegetables, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, um, that those are my favorites. But I used to eat carrots, celery, just things that would allow the body to help it regenerate fresh cells from the inside out. Because the body can heal from a cellular level. You have to start feeding it that way. So that I did a lot of reading on that. Secondly, I think eating on time, like in the morning, then again, maybe 12, 2 o'clock, and then at 6 o'clock, because the body constantly needs that cycle to try to heal and do better. And in terms of protein, this is a tricky one because I did so much reading for myself that I felt that if I stopped animal protein, that would help me. But I think one of my issues became I didn't have enough. So the body, the kidney, it has a hard time functioning, healing, or getting better if it's not enough protein and you're not hydrated. So in that regard, it was a lot of boiled eggs. I did eat turkey. I did eat fish and shrimp, just nothing else past that. But then I didn't have a big appetite. It's kind of a catch-22 with kidney disease because your appetite shrinks. I know mine did at least. And when I read it, it said that was one of the side effects. So that part was more of a battle. So I would recommend anybody. There is a kidney or renal diet. That's what they call it. So
Okay.
I would follow that to a T if possible. And I still use it today. Like if I'm thinking something might be too much or something I don't want to be feeling, feeling the effects of it, I use it still to this day.
That's good to know. I think I used to follow the renal diet myself when I was on the dialysis, and in fact used to go to the National Kidney Foundation website, Davida
Um,
websites to get the kidney friendly recipes and make the modifications in my favorite uh, food.
how were
Also,
they? How were the recipes?
I think they were pretty interesting. I used to modify it a little bit to make it slightly spicier sometimes, or maybe sometimes more sweeter.
Right, right, right. Yeah, because see, I'm originally from Louisiana, so to try to eat or fix food another way, very difficult. Because Louisiana, we like flavors. We like it has to have good taste to it, gravies and roux and all that stuff. So that was out of the window. Like all that was making it worse.
And
So then
then
it was just grilled, with light seasoning. It was definitely a transition.
and in fact, when I used to go to the dialysis clinic, so they used
Uh-huh.
to have small pamphlets around the diet, how to actually, because sodium is actually a big concern for the kidney patients. Like
Yes.
try having seasonings like lemon,
Right.
lemon, black pepper.
Yes. Oh, yes, 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 yes. And in terms of sodium, um, I don't know if I particularly understood it properly because and this was the issue when I went to dialysis, right? On hemodialysis, I would be cramping all over while the process was going on. So that was very weird. But the doctors felt like it was because I didn't have enough sodium. Now, I was staying away from sodium because of my situation. So I'm like, wait a minute, y'all got to make up your mind. But I think the body still needs some degree of natural, I guess they mean not processed.
Yep, and also they're told that do not use the sodium substitute like potassium chloride. I don't know what that is called.
Okay.
It's a salt substitute because it is very high in potassium
Mhm.
and can do more damage.
Yeah, because today I use either Himalayan salt or maybe Baja Gold. I put that in my water, but that's about it. Like I still don't cook with as much salt because again, I don't think that. And the biggest thing I learned is kidney transplant is a treatment. It's not a cure. Because you know
Okay.
when you're going through it, you're like, oh God, I can't wait to get this transplant. Everything's gonna be no, it is a treatment. So that's the biggest thing I learned.
Yep, I agree to it totally. So, I want to know more about your life after transplant. How was your recovery? How many medications do you take? And how are you adapting to a new normal?
The new normal actually has been good. And I'll say that because I think I didn't realize how, even though I was managing it, I didn't realize how much I was managing. Still being an engineer, still working, still traveling, still, because as women, and I guess maybe men too, but sometimes you just keep going, right? There is really no option to stop. So the biggest thing since transplant is that I feel 100% better. I don't know if that's normal, right? I just know it feels much better than what it was before because I just pushed through.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, I just pushed through. So after transplant, me and my sister, we healed. Let me say this: we got started moving around and doing things fairly quickly because I was always a gym person, and the doctor had already told me that it would be a lot easier because I was already quote unquote in shape. So probably about week 3 or 4, I was up. I had been up walking around as soon as I got home. But I'm gonna say moving a little better, doing things better, probably about 2 to 3 weeks out. 4 weeks they released me to drive again. And then after that, I'm just trying to see how the diet goes. What am I supposed to be eating? Because at this point I had lost a lot of weight. When I got home from the hospital, I was down about 30 pounds. I was fresh out of surgery, so I was down about 30 pounds. I was getting worried about that because I'm like, wait a minute, why is my body still losing weight? Because you have to take your pressure, get on the scale, you do all these things afterwards. So every time I get on the scale, I was still losing. I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? So eventually things leveled out. I stopped losing and then I started gaining, probably due to the medications and some things like that, but still feeling fine. In the midst of this though, I was still off on leave from my surgery and being sick. So then I in the evenings would start and learn about AI. So in the midst of learning about AI, I started to put together my experience with the tools in AI because by me having an engineer mindset, I had come up with a system that I used every day. So then when AI hit and I was trying to see how that worked, I'm like, you know what? Why don't I see if this works if I put it together and then eventually when I put it all together, it my framework became clear. The process I was using came clear. And that's how roles got developed, which means for you to recognize, optimize, sustain, and execute. And that's just really recognizing where you are, understanding your numbers, being able to know like what your clear picture is, not guessing. Because at the time I was going through it, I was guessing, and you can have better conversations with your doctor. You become almost like a super advocate for yourself because when they're talking to you, telling you these things, you have an idea of where the conversation is going and what to expect. Because back then I didn't know anything. So developed Rose, kind of put together my website, and so to this day I have a couple of clinicians that I'm working with in terms of getting their offices together, and my one of my mentors were trying to put together the well, what do I wanna call it? I've already done the prototype, but the far end, the finalization of Rose. And so that's what I do now. I think when I started this journey, it was my goal to skip dialysis. I prayed about it. I'm a heavy I'm a Christian. I'm always uh, consulting God about what's happening. And in my mind, I figured that if I did everything right, that I could skip this dialysis phase. But for some reason, that didn't happen for me, which is fine. Mine was still short-lived. However, I feel like it's my purpose. So now I help people who were in the same space as I was in, but they had nowhere to go. So help them in terms of having great conversations with their doctors, being able to advocate for themselves, putting together checklists or questions that they need to ask so they don't forget. It's just turned into something I enjoy doing every day. And that's kind of how my life flushed out after transplant.
Thank you so much, Tamra, for sharing this. Let me share my screen so that people can scan Rose and learn a little bit more about your organization.
Mhm.
Uh, Once again, let me. Can you share your screen actually instead? If,
Let's see.
mm,
I don't know where I put it.
just a second, let me try going to the chat. Let me try sharing it again.
You want me to send the request?
Okay, I got it. So if anybody is interested in learning more about Rose, so this is a QR code you can scan, and also let me show Tamra's website as well. Mhm. So Tamra's website is Rose Beyond the Numbers, and it goes by www.rosebeyondthenumbers.com.
Mhm.
rosebeyondthenumbers.com. Thank you so much, Tamra, for sharing a little bit information with the Rose, and what you are doing for the kidney community is very incredible. Even though you had your own struggles, but you're still trying to give back to the people and want to improve the lives of other dealing with the kidney disease.
Yes,
We are
ma'am.
really, you're amazing.
Thank
And
you.
how did you come up with this name, Rose?
Actually, my grandmother's name was Rose, but when I put together all the things I was doing, it was the acronym for recognize, optimize, sustain, and execute. So then I just left it. Like I just used it. And then too, whenever I would go to the doctor, I never looked like my labs. Like the people would look at the chart and then they'd be calling my name thinking I was somebody else. And so one night I went into the ER and the patient, the guy who was came to get me, he goes, I thought I needed a wheelchair. And I said, for what? He goes, because based on these numbers, I thought you were really sick. I said, no. And I just walked with him to the back. But every time I saw a doctor, they would always say that. So for me, I never looked like the numbers. So I began to live past the numbers. Like, okay, that's what they're saying, but I still got stuff to do. So that's how the name came about.
That's an interesting story.
Yeah. Yes.
We wish you all the best for Rose. Let me know how it goes.
Will
Uh,
do.
so we want to ask a quick question. What
Okay.
is something you wish every kidney patient or caregiver should know?
The patient themselves, I think they should know that our doctors are great in terms of guides and helping us understand where we are. But a lot of times, if whatever the prognosis, diagnosis is, whatever it is, it's not always the final say. There are things we can do to improve that. And for caregivers, be patient with somebody who has kidney disease. It's very, very difficult mentally. There, when toxins are trapped in your body based on whatever you have going on, you may not be the nicest. You may not be, but it's a very I really can't even find the word. It's a very precarious, and you can't really explain it. I know I couldn't. Like the days I didn't feel good, I just didn't feel good. So I will hope that the caregiver has patience.
And
Patience.
who was your caregiver after transplant?
My mom was here, and my sister was my donor, right? So just imagine her running between the both of us. We were driving her crazy. She had to cook. She had to, oh God, I had to get somebody to come clean. It was wild, but I enjoyed the time with them. But yeah, even in the hospital, she ran from one wing to the other. She was going back and forth. So she was a real superstar in all this.
Okay, so I think we
With
should
my
have
mom.
in our next podcast we should invite your mom
I
to
know.
ask,
My
ask
mom and my sister like, how did this thing even happen? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that would be a good idea that I can let the conversation between you and your mom. How was her experience as a caregiver to a donor and a patient,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
both the daughters? People
Absolutely. Yeah,
people
she
say that kids leave after the age of 17 or 18, and the parents become empty nesters in United States.
right. Right. Yeah, but when I had that surgery, I was um I was 50 and my sister was 45. So she was right in between both of us. But yeah, it was amazing because the fact that she was even a perfect match and we have different fathers was amazing to me. So it just really worked out. God has always been there, always been, walking me through and talking me through. But I'm telling you, I was not happy about that dialysis piece. That was not a part of the plan.
Okay, so let's actually ask some fun questions. Leave aside the kidney disease. What is your dream destination to go?
My dream destination, you mean like a place?
Yes.
Thailand.
Why Thailand?
I don't know. Like it's something I went to I used to work in Malaysia sometimes. So I went from Houston to Tokyo. I don't know. I've always wanted to go. Like I can't even tell you why, but that's where I want to go. To stay a good 4 or 5 days, kind of see what's going on there, and that's just where I want to go. After that, it would be Africa.
Oh wow, that's
Hmm.
interesting. What is
Yes.
your favorite food to eat? Because we have been talking a lot about the food.
Right now, my favorite thing, and I'm gonna be, my favorite food is probably a Louisiana dish that nobody will know what it is. But what I eat now a lot is salmon.
Oh, interesting.
Salmon.
How do you cook it for the kidney friendly folks?
I cook it with just a dry rub. No type. I love like a sauce or something, but I don't do it. If so, I'll put the dry rub and I take a spoon of honey and cook it that way. But that's it
And
because I'm trying to not get all the calories and have my weight go up.
uh, what is your if there's a Santa Claus, what wish would you ask him to give?
Hmm. If there's a Santa Claus, I would like him to find more information on this kidney thing and give it to the researchers because I will say when people meet me, they ask me, "Do have I had a career in medicine?" And I have not, but I've had to find this stuff to stay alive. I can't believe you don't do medicine. I said, "No, I'm an engineer. I don't know nothing about medicine. All I was trying to do is stay alive." So yeah.
And yep, that's true. We are engineers. Okay, what are you most passionate about besides Rose? Because I see that you're a lot of passionate about Rose beyond the number. So, what is other thing you are very passionate about?
Right now, and it's a good thing because before all this happened, I hadn't really, I mean, I've worked in quite a few places. Things were getting kind of okay, settling down. When I found AI, that's been really what I've been working on and been passionate about. But one thing I'm really passionate about in AI is making sure that AI covers that AI has human equity for all. Meaning I don't want the biases of the people that train AI to come down to people of color. So my next step is I'm trying to get into a PhD program where I can study AI from the aspect of equality through
That's
all systems. Because in the kidney world, the EGFR calculation was a big disparity, and they only corrected it in 2021. So when those type of things happen, you have people who couldn't qualify for a kidney or whatever the case may be. It affected them very negatively because that coefficient was in the calculation. So I just want to make sure those type things are not happening across the board.
that's
So
it.
that's what I'm passionate about.
And
So I've been hoping. I've reached out to Rice University, which is a local one here in Houston. So I'm hoping I get either phone call or some type of connection there to go see what could be possible.
Oh, wow. Are you looking for in-person program or online program?
If it's local, I mean, I'll take either one, but I do want one that's applied. I don't want one that's so much research based because most of my AI colleagues, we everything we're doing is real time. If you look at it from a research base, I don't know how that would go. So I'm looking for an applied science type PhD,
Okay.
and that seems to be not as typical.
Ah, probably if you learn about that, you can actually talk to Rice. I will develop this program because this is very much needed.
Absolutely, it's crazy because one of my mentors told me that they're like put it together
Yeah.
and and approach them with it because there isn't. I think the question I would have, and I know you know a lot about AI too. How will they teach it? Most times a PhD subject, there's been all this research on it. You have all these sources to draw from. How would they do that with AI and academia at this point? Because every time I sign into one of my tools, something's changed.
They're changing so quickly. Like, I was not the kind of a person made for the PhD because I was like, it's for the research people.
Right,
So
right.
even it's kind of interesting. Let me know if you develop this program and you need any inputs from me, what and that need help in proposing coming up with a good proposal.
Okay, will do. Yeah, because I want it to be applied like for leaders or people who are in the game right now. Because a lot of them are trying to figure out. Everybody's saying a lot of companies have let people go and did things with AI, but now only have to bring them back.
Oh, yes. And talking about that, I think we should tell our viewers know what the AI did with us today. It had almost cancelled our meeting.
I have okay, I'll say I have a super agent by the name of Uno. Uno is number one. It's the first super agent I made. So his name is Uno. So every day he gives me my calendar. So I'm out today running errands and I knew I had to meet with you today. And so I go, check, you know what? Ask DP about the subject. Like, what are we gonna be talking about? And he goes, okay, I'll send her that. I said, also ask her a few more things. He goes, oh, I'll send another follow-up. And then he comes back and says, oh, she answered, blah, blah, blah. And that was it. Be ready at 4, this, that, and the third. So then you message and say that hey, do you want to reschedule or not do it at all? And I go, no, I'm fine with it. Like, what's going on? So I go back to my agent and say, what did you do? Because now she thinks I don't want to do the podcast. And the super agent goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me see how I can go back and fix it." So that was the first big blunder I had with my super agent.
It had declined the meeting. And I think if you have read the email it was sending me, that made me little thought, okay, who is actually replying these?
Because he goes, do you want me to ask her a couple questions? I said, well, yeah, yeah, because I'd never done that. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, that's fine. Because I normally use it internally for myself. I never had to reach out. And when it came back, I was like, okay, well maybe. And then when I saw the declination, I said, oh no, what have you done? He goes, oh, I'm so sorry.
I think we should put the Uno to a good use to market this video because one of the question it was like, how do I intend to distribute this video?
I will. I will. But yeah,
Let the Uno do this job for us.
that's right, right. You're like, how can we distribute this? That's true. But yeah, it's been super, and that one I think is out of super base, um, or base 44. That's where that agent lives. But yeah, that's the first time it's ever messed up. First time.
I see. Thank you so much, Tamra, for your time. And I hope to see you and your mother and your sister in our next podcast, sharing your story, especially from your mother's side.
Oh, absolutely. Just let me know. We can set it up. But
Absolutely.
any questions your viewers may have, check me out. Send me a message and I'd be glad to chat with you.
And once again, please do subscribe to the Kidney Talkies. And if you want to reach out to Tamara, you can check her website, Rose Beyond the Numbers. Rose Beyond the Numbers. And I'll be writing its information in the description of the this video as well. Thank you everyone for staying tuned to Kidney Talkies and supporting us.